Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to RobMotive. Today, I'm going to be putting new-ish hood struts on the Toyota Tacoma. You know, I have a single strut on there right now, which I don't really have a big issue with, other than it skews the hood a little bit. This side is higher than that side, and I'm really more concerned, and this is a long-term thing, but about putting stress on the hinges for the hood. Now, I'm able to do this because I recently replaced the S&B cold air intake with the K&N cold air intake. That gives me the room that I need over here to be able to put that strut on. Before, with the size of the S&B down there, I couldn't clear it with the hood strut. No issues with that now. What I'm doing, these are no-drill hood struts. They just attach where the hinges are for the hood, and then there's a little piece of double-sided tape you put on the edge here just to steady them. I'll show you that. As far as the struts themselves, you'll notice there's two different lengths. The longer one goes on the passenger side, and they connect both sides just to these little nubs that you screw in. Now, the nubs themselves, one of them is going to replace the bolt here for the ground. Not a big deal. It's still grounded in there. You're just going to run a strut off the top of it. The other one is going to go in this hole right down here. Not sure if you can see it, but it's the silver little planet-looking area right there. And then, as I mentioned, the top brackets just screw on to the top bolts on the hinge, and then they double-side tape up here. The double-sided tape is really just to steady it. There's no real pressure on that. These are pretty substantial bolts, so they're held in there pretty well. I have no concern about those whatsoever. Now, first up, and you may notice, you can probably hear it, I have a heater running. It's a little chilly out here, so I want the metal to be heated up a little bit, and that's so that I get good adhesion for the double-sided tape I'm going to put on. They do come with double-sided tape. These have been used before, so the tape is gone. I have to reapply it. So I'll clean that up with some rubbing alcohol, cut off a couple pieces of tape to go in these two areas. That's it. And then we'll be able to get it installed. First up, we're going to start with the brackets on the hinges here. You want to remove the top bolt here. Make sure you don't remove the bottom one too, otherwise the hood will be loose. So let's just take that top one off. It takes some pressure, that's for sure, which is good. It's a 12mm socket, by the way. Now, as far as positioning the bracket, you want the nub to be facing out, not in. So the flat part of the bracket will be facing in. Goes over that hole, and as I mentioned, it's just gonna kind of double-sided taped up there, and that's what's gonna hold it down. So we're gonna go ahead and put it on. Next up, as I mentioned, it's time to put the bottom knob in where the ground bolt is. Right here, I've loosened it up a little bit, fits right in the hole, and that's where we'll attach the strut. Now, the funny thing about these, I couldn't find a wrench that actually fits. So there's some kind of non-standard size, I don't know. So I have to use a crescent wrench to do this. Just a little tip. I don't want to round off the edges really any more than they already are. Now, for this other side, it is easier because it's almost covered by this trim piece to go ahead and at least loosen this up and set it aside. We've got both nubs on. The one down here, you can see it fits right over the trim piece. So when you put it back on, just be advised, the edge of it will grab. You just push it on behind it. It's not a big deal. Now it's time to go ahead and put the troublesome strut on. This is the one that led to the demise of the S&B cold air intake. To put these on, again, the longer one on the passenger side, you simply kind of roll them on to the nub. And I will have to lift the hood up just a little bit, which means I may have to take the other one off. I'm not sure because it's a little bit higher, probably because the the hood is sitting skewed. But anyway, let's just push this on. We'll find out. By the way, the big part goes at the top. Okay, that was actually not too bad. Now down here, I'm about an inch too long, it seems. So I have to kind of push the hood up. And I don't know if the other strut's gonna let me do that. Probably not. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the other strut off, and this is because I have a second strut on there already. So I'm gonna take that off. I will have to use the old rod here to hold it up, and then we'll go ahead and get that pushed in. Okay, got the other strut off, got the rod, nasty rod back up there. I'll show you how to take the hood strut off here when we're finished at the end, so stay tuned for that. Now, I guess I need to release the nasty rod because it's too short. This goes higher. And let's see about pushing this on. And there it is. It's on and it's being held up by the new strut. And there you have it. Both sides are now on. The hood is fully deployed. And I don't think it sits crooked anymore. Next up is to test if it actually works and to make sure I have clearance here, although I can tell by looking at it, it should be just fine. It is quite a bit higher, by the way. I really kind of have to stretch up there to get it, which is okay. It gives me more room to work under the hood. There you go. Goes up like it should. Awesome. All right, I am done and I am happy. Finally, a solution to my hood strut problem, caused by me, of course. Works great, love it. There is, and again, you can see plenty of clearance over here. Not sure if there would have been if I hadn't taken this edge off here. I don't think so. Now, I did mention I'd show you how you actually get a strut off. So let me show you that real quick here. Here is the strut that was on, and you can see there is a retaining spring kind of thing right here, and there's some notches. All you do is put a screwdriver in the notch and pry that off. Now, it is loaded. In other words, it wants to spring, it wants to grab. So put your hand over it or keep your eyes away, or better yet, wear goggles or safety glasses, because this thing will go flying. I know because I've done it before. I figured out I could just simply pry it up a little bit. And by the way, you don't have to take it all the way off to get the strut off. You just have to pry it up a little bit so that these teeth in here move away from the ball that it's holding on to. Anyway, that is the completion of my little remodel under the hood. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Do you have the hood struts? Ever run into a clearance problem? I'd be curious to know. Also, real quick, I do have 2 additional channels. Mod Driven, all about the Honda Civic, and RobMotive JT, all about the Jeep Gladiator. Check them out, and if you're interested, why not subscribe? And while you're at it, smash the subscribe button here too. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.